Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all of my crafty adventures. Today is January 3rd, 2026, and this is episode 151. My name is Roz and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada with my husband and my two kids who are 15 and 14. Welcome to a new year and a new subscribers, hopefully, and welcome back to any returning viewers. I hope you enjoyed the sporadic episodes that I had in December, as well as Vlogmas. I know that the numbers are still creeping up, so I know some of you are still watching them. I love doing that, catching up on Vlogmases in January. It's so nice to kind of extend the season a little bit. What do I have for you? I talked about who I am and where I am and all that. It's like I'm out of practice or something. I'm not wearing any knitwear today, so we'll skip that segment. I do have finished objects, works in progress, stash, events. I think that's it. I don't have any books for you. I'm sorry. And, you know, anyway. I might talk about some books at the end. We'll see what we get to. So let's start off because I am very excited about a few finished objects. If you saw my last episode, you know that I was very close to finishing my Musselburgh hat. So this is my Raspberry Dream Musselburgh. Musselburgh is a pattern by Isolde Teague and it is a double thick hat. This is the way that I picture it being worn because the inside has a bit of multicolor color blocking because I ran out of the raspberry and then I just had this little tiny bit of the brown left. I think it was called mocha, and then I finished it off with the green, which I had a full skein, so I knew I had enough to do it. So anyway, that is my Raspberry Musselburgh. It is knit. Those three colors are Alan.com Sock It To Me shades. This color is called Raspberry Dream. The brown is Mocha and the green is Rainforest. So yeah, anyway, it's a bit on the big side, but I'm sure it'll fit somebody. So I'm very happy with it. It is blocked even, so it's ready to go in the gift bin and somebody somewhere will enjoy it. Next up, I finished a headband. And I'm sorry my lighting is weird today. It is late in the day, yeah, the sun has gone down behind me, and so I have a variety of lights on, and we're just going with it. Hopefully it's good. Isn't that so pretty? This is the Let's Hike pattern by Shayna S. Cohen. And the yarn, the dark blue, is a Fireweed Fiber Co. Poplar DK in Harvest Night. It's like a very dark teal. And then the multicolor blue is a Pearly Shell Pirate Dyed Superwash DK in Rune. So, and Pearly Shell is a yarn store that I visited in Oregon. I don't remember where in Oregon, but they were in a cute little town. And there's lots of cute little towns in Oregon. I have one more finished object. Look at this masterpiece. Okay, so this is the One Love Mystery Shawl by Hoki Locatelli. And it was a mystery knit along in the late fall. I can't remember when I started it, but anyway, and I had this one-of-a-kind color from Changing Tides, which is a store in Alaska where they dye their own yarn. And it's just grays and teals and kind of bluish colors. So, and it's got some beautiful lace work. And yeah, I'm excited. I did do the picot edging option and I pinned them all out. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I'm not going to put it on because that's going to mess with my mic, but I will wear this like wrapped around my neck with the tails hanging down nice and snugly around my neck. When it's on, it'll be a lot more bunched up and you won't necessarily see, you might see the bottom lace. You'll definitely see the picot edging, but I'm okay with that because I know it's there and I know it's pretty and it will keep me warm. That is it for those 3 finished objects. Three finished objects for the first podcast of 2026. I also have 3 works in progress for this podcast. The first up are some socks, and they're a patterned sock. I don't often do a patterned sock because socks are usually my go-to of like I'm just hanging out and watching TV or a movie or with friends or whatever, and I just do a plain sock with some self-striping and call it good. But I've had this patterned in my queue for a long time and I just felt inspired to cast it on. And these are the Mithilweight Manor socks by Lisa K. Ross. This is part of the Secret Garden collection. So it's based off of inspiration from the Secret Garden book, and Mithilweight Manor is the manor she goes to in the book. Let's see. Yeah. So I did quite a tall ribbing. I'm basically following the pattern. I may not follow the heel, we'll see. And yeah, so good bit of ribbing, and now we're on, it's hard to see my terrible lighting, but getting some of the pattern going there. It is an 8-row repeat, so I have my twice sheared sheep stitch counter, stitch marker, or row counter with the spinning wheel on it. It does go to 10, but I'm just using the 8 and then going back around to 1. So that's very helpful for that. This yarn is some Knit Picks Stroll fingering in the Thirst Heather, and it's this lovely tweedy kind of grayish greeny blue. It's not really teal, it's hard to describe, but yeah, so it's the Stroll tweed. And yeah, so it is a 65% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and 10% Donegal tweed. So it's very soft Knit Picks. They're superwash. The Felici and the Stroll I find very soft, but also hard wearing. I'm wearing a pair of Felici socks right now that I've had for a few years, and they do loosen up a bit over the day, but they are super soft and super comfortable. Next up is a project I have made a ton of progress on. And I started a project with the Aland.com shades. So this was what I used for the very end of that muscle burrow that I just finished. And so I weighed what was left and decided that I could make a bandana with it. And I chose the May scarf by Isolde Teague. So there's different options for this pattern. I went for the bandana size because that's what I had yarn for. And then there's, I believe, a small scarf and a large scarf. And it's so tangled. There we go. So, but look. So you start at this end and you go this way. And it is double thick, so it's like I'm knitting in the round, and then it's hard to see because it needs to be blocked out. But there's a bit of detail on the edge, and I have finished the point. Let's see, can I get it to, yeah, so I've started the decreases now, and it's just gonna be a little bandana. Taylor can use it for tying in her hair or around her neck, or it'll go in the donation bin. I have no idea, but I am making it and it looks great. It's showing up like really stripy on camera with this lighting, and in person it is not that stripy. But it's great because I have the pattern. It's just a 2-row for the bandana one. It's just a 2-row repeat. I'm not going to give away the secret sauce, but And basically most of the row you're just knitting, and then at the beginning and end you have to do something. But it's very straightforward, which is why I've made so much progress on it. We had D&D over the break, and we watched a bunch of movies, and I've been trying to finish a book that I'm reading with Taylor, and I've been able to knit and read as well. Oh, that's better. Sorry, I usually try to cut that out, but that's not going to be cuttable. I have one more thing that I cast on. All right, this one is super fun. It's another pattern from my queue with yarn that I had in stash for some amount of time. It's not my oldest yarn like the elan.com that we just saw, but it's been in my stash for a while. And let's just glory in this. So this is the Checkerwork Hat by Vexy. And there is a fingering weight pattern and a DK weight pattern. They are separate patterns, you have to buy them separately. I got the fingering weight one because I have a lot of self-striping fingering weight, and this is Knit Picks Felici fingering weight in the color Ever After. So I'm trying to stretch it out so you can see when you wear this, it is definitely going to stretch some, but you're still going to get, like, the stripes don't go, they kind of go at an angle, and I love it so much. It's just so good. I just stop and look at it. So yeah, I did a 1x1 ribbing for the brim. It is a hat. It's a beanie style hat for you Americans, or a toque style. Yeah, and this one, the pattern is very easy. It is very well written and easy to follow, and you repeat it like the same around and around. Like it's not hard to do, but I find that unless I'm watching something that I don't really need to pay attention to, I do find it difficult to work on that. Like if I'm in a Teams meeting or something, usually I'm talking, so I'm not really paying attention to my knitting. Whereas the May scarf, I find that I can do that during a meeting. I cannot do this because I really need to count to 6 to make sure I do the stitches in the right order. So it's not as much progress as the other ones, but I am enjoying it for sure. Okay, that is my 3 works in progress. Next, we're going to talk about stash. I have a couple things in my bin here because there was a few things that I haven't shown you that I got in my Twice Sheared Sheep Advent for 2025 that I got after the last podcast, and I haven't put them away yet because I wanted to show you guys. The first is these stitch markers, and they have an L and an R. So if you're doing like a raglan and you needed like left leaning stitches and right leaning increases, then that would be super helpful of what type of increase you're doing. So that's super awesome. This is a gauge checker. So I'm trying to, yeah, you can kind of see it. It's clear because you're supposed to put it on your knitting, but it just got all sorts of gauges on it, and you can kind of be like, okay, what gauge am I actually getting right now? And it has the row and the stitch. Words are hard. So yeah, mostly the row, because that's going to give you the inch, but you kind of figure out which stitch fits into which one, and then it's got 6 inches on the side, so that is good. And the last thing is this, and I haven't used it yet because I wanted to show you guys. So it is a travel mug. It does have the lid on it, and it's Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and Tigger. And then on the other side, it's got a quote from the book. Sorry, the lighting is making it. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you'll ever know, Winnie the Pooh. So, and it is a double wall on the inside, nice stainless steel. So I'll definitely be using that for some tea when I'm on the go. So that is it for the Advent calendar. I thoroughly enjoyed that Advent calendar and would definitely get it again. Next up is stash. I have my final 2025 numbers, of course, now that it is 2026. So for December, I had one skein in, that was my monthly yarn club from Fireweed Fiber Co. for 366 meters. And yarn out, I had the third Bumble hat, a baby sweater, baby mitts, the Rocky Ridge hat, the raspberry musselburgh, the Let's Hike, the blue Let's Hike headband, and the shawl, the One Love shawl. All of that together is 1,727 meters. That is amazing. Great way to end off the year. So that's good. For December, I was definitely in the right direction. For the year to date, so that's the total for all of 2025, yarn in was 14,487 meters, and yarn out is 18,712 meters. That's a difference of 4,225 meters out. So that felt really good to get those numbers. Oh no, wait. I've just given you the wrong numbers. Those were the end of November numbers. If I flip the page, I get to my end of 2025 numbers. So yarn in was 14,853 and yarn out was 20,439. So still very good, a little bit more than the 4,000. I don't have the numbers here, but it will be up on the screen. And then I have a bunch of other notes and lists and stuff in here, but I did do, there we are. Okay, so the difference is 5,586 meters between the yarn in and the yarn out to the yarn outside. So that is good. I also have a look at what projects I made this year. I made 31 hats, 6 pairs of socks, 3 sweaters, 13 in the other category. This could be like I made the market bags and the washcloths for the year-end gifts last year, things like that. I made 7 cowls, 2 shawls, 1 pair of mitts, and 1 headband for a total of 64 projects. And that's pretty in line with my other years. There was a bit more meterage out than other years. Yeah, I'm usually like between like 55 and 65 projects. I made a lot of hats this year, so that of course is a smaller project, so there's more of them. And that's it. Oh, yeah, that's it for my 2025 things. I did want to, and I'm totally feeling unprepared right now, but where is my, okay. These are my 2025 goals for the year. I had 6 of them. I don't know. I pretty much immediately forgot about some of these, but my 2025 goals, did I say 26? My 2025 goals were knit from Oldest Stash, knit from Q and Library, make more sweaters, make more giftable items, only 3 projects at a time, and interact more often on social media. So knit from Oldest Stash, I always had a project on the go with my Oldest Stash according to Ravelry, so big check mark on that one. I definitely did some things from my Q and definitely some from my Library, but not always, so we'll put a maybe on that one. I did not make more sweaters, so that was a big old X. Make more giftable items. I definitely made more giftable items. For last year's teacher gifts in June, I decided to make all of the teachers a knit or crochet item, so I definitely did that. Only 3 projects at a time. I don't know if I really strictly adhered to that, but I tend to only work on a couple at a time anyways, so I think that one, I'll call that one a success. And then interact more often on social media. Yeah, I'm still working on that. I feel like I look at a lot of people's posts and comment on a lot of people's posts, or just put a heart on stuff. I don't make a lot of content myself, and I don't know that I want to get into that platform. I like this platform where I can kind of record and spend the time to edit and make sure everything is kind of put together in a certain way. And I find it harder to do that for shorts, but maybe, who knows? I think it would be nice to comment more and talk more with people on social media, so that will be good. But I did not put that as one of my goals for this year. So my 2026 crafting goals are to continue knitting my oldest stash. So that right now is that Elan.com rainforest, the green that I'm making into the bandana. And I already have a plan for the next one in line, so don't worry. And to knit things from my queue. So this past year, 2025, I went through a lot of the things in my queue and looked for yarn that I already had that would work for these projects. Or I looked for things, if I had some sort of specialty yarn, I'm like, well, what would I make with this? Then find a pattern and queue it, whether it's in my library or not. So I'm definitely going to knit things from my queue. All three things that I'm currently working on were in my queue that I have cast on. So that's pretty good. And only 3 projects at a time. So I really like to see progress on my knits week over week. And if I have 20 projects, I'm not gonna get to very much progress on each of them. So I'm kind of limiting myself to 3. I have one that's like a more involved kind of, needs a bit more attention. And then I have a couple more mindless, if you will, more automatic projects that I can knit on during work meetings or watching TV or whatever. So that is gonna be what we're doing with that. And that is all in my lovely notebook. I think I can get 1 more year in this, probably not 2. So I have to think about what I will do after that. Yeah, because I don't think I'll get more years out of that one, but that's been a nice, so 23, 24, 25, and 26, 4 years in one notebook. So that is pretty good. Oh, and my computer has gone off. What else is on my list? Okay, so that was a really long stash segment, but I needed to update you on all of the stuff for the year end, so that is good. And then last, I have events. I'm still participating in the Down Cellar Studio Pigskin Party. This goes until February something, and basically along with the day after the Super Bowl, so you have time to get pictures and all that kind of stuff of your items. I have 3 new items that I got to put in the spreadsheet there. Basically, you fill out a Google form and it puts it in the spreadsheet, and then they use that to draw winners. If you put it in things like on Ravelry, they have forums. There's different challenges each month, and there's like a Market Monday thread and a chatter thread, and those can also get you entries for prizes too. So it's not my thing. It's from Boston Jen of the Down Cellar Studio podcast, YouTube channel. She's got an audio podcast and a YouTube channel, so definitely check her out. She has all the details on her website, but I enjoy this knit along because basically you can knit whatever you want and you can strategize to get more entries, or you can just enjoy what you're knitting and then also be entered for prizes. So it's really good that way. That's it. I'm just looking at the table. That's everything that I wanted to talk about today. And I don't have much to talk about for books. I am still reading Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. Taylor, of course, has rocketed through basically the entire series, and I am going to endeavor to catch up to her as soon as possible. But, there's only so much time for reading when you are, a wife, a mother, have a full-time job, and other things. So, but she will have less time for reading now that she's back to school. We don't want to say that too loud and upset the teenagers. They've still got 1 more full day before school starts. Yeah, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe down below. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. You can send me an email, check me out on Ravelry or Instagram, and we will see you guys again next time. Bye.